Hey, my name is Sarah, and welcome back to another episode of Talking Fast. I'm in the same outfit. Jacob's in the same outfit. That's because we're recording 2 episodes on the same day. We're outfit repeaters. If you're watching the YouTube version, which you should subscribe now to the YouTube version. If you're only a listener, you should be a viewer too.
1 to 5.
Maybe not today. Maybe you. Anyways, but with that, after you've hit subscribe on YouTube, we will continue. What are you eating or drinking this week?
I'm gonna give a shout out to Ayr, Ontario. It's near Paris, Ontario.
Ayr?
Ayr. I lived there for 2 months after I finished high school. Before going to university, my family moved out there, and it is a little
Ayr.
country town.
I've never heard of it before.
Down the 401 on the way to London.
That's why was just saying to someone the other day, when you grew up on the east side of Toronto, you know nothing about Western Ontario, and vice versa.
Yeah, and there's a lot there.
Yeah.
There's a lot there. And Ayr is one of them. And there's this, started out as a gin distillery, I think, called Willibald. But you've probably seen a bunch of their RTDs, their ready to drink cocktails, and they have some beer too, so lager. Anyway, they got some good drinks, and they have a cool spot now in Ayr. It wasn't there when I was there decades ago. But they honestly, I think it's, speaking of Jacob's songs of the summer, I might have to have a list of Jacob's drinks of the summer. The Willibald Cherry Spritz is essential sleigh-worthy drinking this summer. Shout out to Willibald, shout out to Ayr. I have to make it down because I've never been, and I want one of their t-shirts. Their merch is also great. It's in the LCBO too, the Cherry Spritz, so go and buy it. Sarah, what about you? What are you eating or drinking?
I'm back on my iced coffee game for home iced coffee. I don't really drink iced coffee except for the summertime. And at Costco, you can get the 2 things of stock, which this math doesn't make sense to me. If I go to Loblaws or Sobeys, 1 thing of the stock cold brew, STOK.
Yeah.
It's my favorite iced coffee, is $8 for one. Criminal, but it's $8. When I go to Costco,
Literally criminal.
When I go to Costco, I get 2 for $11. 2 of the same full size ones.
That's basically 100% off.
Yeah,
50%
it's
off
crazy. And I knew that the Costco one was a good deal. And I might be making up numbers here, but regardless, it's you're getting buy one, get one half off essentially at Costco. It's crazy.
And you may as well buy a couple.
So I always do. So I always have, in my small condo fridge, it's kind of tough, but I always have 4. Yeah, it's so good. So anyways, Slay.
I have to try this.
Stock. It's so good.
I've never really got into cold brew, to be honest.
It's not, okay, stock.
Or iced
stock
coffee.
Is called,
I don't even really drink iced coffee that much.
Well, I love stock because it's to me, the best tasting from a bottle, cold brew, whatever. And I just add a little bit of my caramel almond creamer, and it literally tastes like I'm drinking a really fancy $7 latte.
Did you also see that Costco has new food items?
No.
Yeah, go check it out.
Okay. I thought you were about to derail this entire thing. We'll go down that rabbit hole another day.
Sarah, what are you watching or reading this week?
I'm watching Welcome to Wrexham because it's back. It's on weekly episode releases. And so, I'm a few weeks behind, but I'm on Welcome to Wrexham.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler.
For anyone who follows sports.
Well, I won't say what happens. You should watch it. Actually, my boss at work, he has the words Wrexham AFC, all of it muted on Google, Twitter,
really?
on everything.
Just to watch it?
Because he wants, even though this man works in sports, so he could know what happens. He wants to watch every season fully not knowing whether they're moving up a level or not. And if you don't know, Welcome to Wrexham is about Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney's Welsh football team that they bought, and they're trying to make it to the Premier League, which is 5 leagues above what they are right now. So
and it's one of the oldest football teams in the world.
It's the 3rd oldest in the world, correct? It's really, and honestly, the documentary, it's a docu-series. It's more so about the town itself, and the people are so lovable. And now I want to go to Wrexham, Wales. So anyways,
that's one thing I do here. I haven't watched the series. I would love to.
You would love it.
After this one comes out,
you'll have 3 full seasons to binge.
All 3, I think.
That's smart. That's smart. I like that. What about you? What are you watching or reading?
I threw this on a couple days ago, Sarah.
Read it on the thing.
Sarah's laughing at it. Listen, I've got a soft spot in my heart for animated movies. I just want to be a kid sometimes, Yeah. I threw on Despicable Me the other day.
The first one? There's a 3rd one or 4th one now?
Well, guess what? I Googled it because I was doing some deep research on Despicable Me because it was such a good movie that I was like, oh my God, I'm excited. There's Despicable Me 4
In theaters.
It drops July 29th.
Oh my God. You have to go.
Yeah, I might get VIP seats. I might get VIP seats and like do a pretty crazy Coca-Cola Freestyle Machine drink for this one.
Do you want to know what? I will say.
All yellow, Minion related.
Like Mountain Dew and
Yeah.
stuff. When I was a babysitter / like borderline nanny, Despicable Me was one of my favorite. Like they had like a rotation of only a handful of movies these kids ever wanted to watch. Despicable Me was one of the ones that I was like, I was down for. I liked it.
I'm gonna campaign.
I rate it. I think it's good viewing.
I think so too. And
Steve
Carell with a funny accent.
Yeah, you can't go wrong.
I'm on a campaign to make movies fun again, and it starts with Despicable Me 4.
If there is a Despicable Me 4 influencer event, Jacob will gladly go.
Honestly, yeah. If anyone, we've got some people in the movies who probably listen. If you are promoting Despicable Me 4, get this guy
I wonder what
there.
that popcorn bucket's gonna look like. Oh, just a little
true.
minion. What are you listening to other than the soundtrack to the Despicable Me
Sarah,
movies?
I've talked about this guy so many times. Grady. He just can't stop dropping music, and I'm obsessed with this guy, Grady. Also, side note, every time I go in and look at who's following him, really cool people are following Grady on Instagram. But
Every
he's pretty
time you
low-key. I
say
think he only has
Grady-
like 40,000 Instagram
Every time you
followers.
say Grady, I think you're talking about Young Gravy.
Yeah, it's so different.
I know.
So different.
I know.
Could not
I
be
know.
more different.
Okay.
Grady just keeps dropping hit after hit after hit. And this happened the other day. Did I ever talk about this on the podcast? I don't know. I'll talk about it again. I bought a blue yoga mat and he dropped a song called Blue Yoga Mat.
No, you didn't talk about that.
A day after my blue
Well, if
yoga
he
mat
only
was
has
delivered.
40,000 followers, maybe he's doing a little creepy creep.
Well, get this. Yeah, and he's naming new songs and full lyrics and choruses after me. I hope so. I was actually psyched. I got a little starstruck the other day. I commented on one of his Instagram posts and he commented back.
He replied?
Yeah, and he is so thoughtful that he replied to that comment and he misspelled something. And then this was the funny part. It was like 3 hours later or something. He corrected just the spelling error with another comment. So I was like, oh, go off, King.
Then get him on the podcast. Where's he based out of?
He's not touring right now, but as soon as he's touring, I already thought about this. I'm going to send him a DM immediately and I say, hey, Grady, not Young Gravy. Come on,
have you seen Despicable Me?
Let's me and Grady at the Despicable Me 4 premiere. Catch us there. Sarah, what are you listening to?
I am here for the Sabrina Carpenter Renaissance.
Please.
She is the girl of summer. She is the
so.
girly pop of summer.
I think so.
Like, it's crazy. Also, I just learned that the hair she wears on stage is a wig.
The whole thing?
Well, because like I think she naturally does have like
She
blonde,
bald
luscious
like
hair. No, but I think it's like what Kelsey Ballerini does, where they naturally have that blonde, luscious hair, but it'll never stay. So they just wear a wig
like
on
logistically,
stage.
it makes more sense.
It logistically makes more sense, but they wear beautiful wigs. Anyways, like she just does not like stop. She has a new album dropping.
Do you think, I always wonder, do you think she's writing, I forget the song, but she changes it where every city that she's
Nonsense?
in.
Like that one?
Nonsense. It's like,
Yeah, she writes them.
Yeah?
I also watched a video.
Impressive.
I watched a video where she was like, because she makes them like very like sexual.
She does.
And she was like,
The BBC.
She goes, but she was like, I talk a big game. She's like, I talk a big game. Like, she goes, I kind of just see how far I can go with it. She goes, but half the time I'm giggling saying it. But yeah, her and Barry Keoghan, like hot boy, hot girl summer, they're just taking over. Anyways, I just think her music is so vibey. And I do think this kind of goes to show the power of being an opening act for Miss Taylor Swift at this point when she has the biggest tour in the world, because like the trajectory has been like exactly on par. Like
100%. Yeah, but don't take too much away from her.
I'm not saying I'm taking it away from her. I'm just saying that it's like crazy that it's like all that has happened in the same year. This girl had like 5 albums before.
I can't deny it helps. For sure. It helps.
But it's
100%.
like it's so interesting. From Boy Meets World to like having the song of the
Is
summer.
that where she's from?
Well, she's from Girl Meets World.
Oh, I was like, was she like a tiny little baby?
Yeah, so Topanga plays her mom on the show, and she went to
know.
She flew all the way down to Rio de Janeiro or to Argentina, whatever show, to go watch her her first opening night on the Eras tour.
I need to get deeper into this.
And she was there at SNL for her. You have to get deeper into Sabrina Carpenter lore.
I refused to watch Girl Meets World because Boy Meets World meant a lot to me.
Oh,
and I just didn't want to ruin the original.
Well, Sabrina Carpenter's on it, so
that's huge. That's great.
Sorry, Gen Z is correcting me. Topanga's not the mom. Regardless, it's part of the lore, and she goes to all of her big events.
Sarah, somewhere you went this week?
this leads into one of the questions that we end up getting when we get to voicemail in a little bit. Somebody asked me my thoughts on The Well, and I had already written down The Well as somewhere I went this weekend.
Okay, yeah.
But let's be honest, I'm a city place girly. I go to The Well all the time.
They need like their own little fan club. It needs to be like the Dwellers or something.
I hate that. I moved my eye doctor to The Well recently. I've moved
you're moving physicians?
Well, not like full blood. It's too hard to move a doctor, but my eye doctor is now in The Well because they have this really good health clinic where you walk in. It's so fancy,
Shade
and it's like
to eye doctors, by the way, is what you just did.
And it's like, no, I mean, it's hard to get. I'm talking about family doctors.
I know what you meant.
It's hard to get. Okay,
I'm just rude.
And then they have like, you can go. Literally, you walk in. It's like, oh, you want Botox? You can go Botox, but you can also get your eyes checked. But you can also go to Life Labs and get your blood taken.
I've never been
to The Well.
Well.
We should go.
So there's a lot. There's more than just restaurants and like.
It's like the whole point is you could live there and like never leave.
Wow. Okay.
They have apartments above and you could live there and never leave. But the Sephora is opening. They have Lululemon. Anyways, I get it. There's this like running bit on like TikTok and the internet. This like where everyone's like, oh my god, it's just for like the basic white girls love The Well. Yeah, I am a basic white girl and I fucking love The Well. I am the demographic and I do not care. I have great food options. I've been to like Bridget Bar, I've been to the Dorset, I've been to Lulu, I've been to all these. I'm going to La Plume next week. I'm in all these great restaurants that are walking distance. All these like they're walking distance to me. I can get a dress at Park and Fifth. I can get a tattoo at the Ink Place. Whatever you want. I can spend a whole day there.
Okay,
now Wellington Market's open. Okay, I will say, shout out Wellington Market because Wellington Market is like a food hall, but it's all Toronto-based restaurants. So now I have like a La Cubana like down the street from me. I have Gus Tacos there. Like everything is so close. It's all Toronto restaurants. It's not like food court.
I gotta check this out.
Yeah, you do. You would love it.
There's a 6 a.m. run club that runs out of there too.
Okay, I will not do that part because I do not wake up at 6 a.m. But also say is, yeah, I'm basic, but I really like The Well. And it's my new number one recommendation when people are like, where do I go in Toronto? I go, just go there. You'll figure out something to do.
Okay.
Anyways.
I have to check it out.
You have to go. What about you? Where's somewhere you went?
Okay, we actually had this debate, you and I, the other day at Run Club. Because I hadn't been here in months, I don't think. But it was National Donut Day the other day. So Haley and I went to Cops.
Did they have like a special or something or no?
No, maybe. I don't know. But we just got one of the regular ones. Mm-hmm. We had this debate though, Sarah. So I'm going to bring it up again. Hot, fresh donuts are great. Cupcakes, if the two of them are an option, and it's donuts versus cupcakes, and they've been kind of sitting there for 2 hours, I'm going cupcakes all day.
You don't like cold donuts?
No.
So like you only like Cops when it's hot, fresh, like.
Well, this is what I was gonna say. So I went over to Cops and we got the donuts and immediately ate them. I'm talking these were less than 60 seconds off the line donuts.
Yeah.
There is no experience better than going into a Cops and getting a fresh pack of little donuts and immediately eating them.
For sure, I align.
They do have they do have a set of bleachers set up in the front of their East End location that I almost fell off of, so maybe fix that. But otherwise, a perfect experience at Cops.
But you won't eat them when they're cold. See, whereas I'll
eat them, but I'm not going to enjoy them.
What we do is if there's Cops, like I'm not eating a full box of mini donuts like in one sitting. And if they'll sit there for like 4 days, and then once a day, I'll just go and take one of the cold donuts.
Cops are not going to last one day for me. They're going to last a few hours.
But I buy a big box so that I get them for multiple days.
You're not eating enough.
The 50 pack.
I could do a 50 pack of Cops in 2 hours, no doubt. Bet.
Well, in 2 hours, I guess.
An hour.
In an hour? Okay.
30 minutes.
30? Okay, I'll do this next week.
Okay.
I will bring up 50 pack and you have 30 minutes to finish them. You can't throw up.
I don't have to like eat all the icing that's stripped off though, right? Just the donuts and the icing that's on the donuts?
Yeah.
Because okay. Bet's on.
Okay, great. It'll be entertaining. You'll just sit here for the whole podcast record eating them.
Something that you did this week, Sarah.
I got a new mattress. And although they are a supporter of the podcast.
Yes.
Polysleep.
Yes.
This part, they are not telling me to say, I woke up with no back pain today for the first time after sleeping on my wonderful new mattress. Okay, so for context, I need you all to understand. The mattress I've been living on, because half my life is sleeping in bed, it's crooked, and it has been crooked since the day we got it. But it was one of those things where it's like it's really expensive moving into an apartment. And it's like we were given a mattress, so I was like, okay, well, we'll just like use this for a little while. You know, when like you
totally.
have something initially when you first move in, you're like, I'll just keep it for a little while. It's
Collecting
like
your assets.
you're like, I'll keep it for a little while. It's just like until we get a new one, and then 3.5 years later, you're still sleeping on the same goddamn mattress.
Yeah.
Finally got a new one. Like literally life, like it's life changing. It's life. I go, is this why people love laying in bed all day? Because their mattresses are really comfortable. I did not have that experience before. So it might be bad for my productivity. Good for my sleep though.
Sleep is so important though.
I'm literally so excited to go home and go and just like lay when I'm reading. And I was like getting comfortable in every position while I was reading on my e-reader last night. Like that's not common. Like also note, like normally when the bed shifts, like the other person like slide it because it was like crooked. This one, it doesn't do that. Anyways, and
shout out, honestly, their pillows as well.
The pillows were also a slide.
This is the other thing, is a game changer, not just mattress, but it's like if your pillow game is not strong.
No, it's so important.
Listen, this isn't even the sponsor segment. Like if your pillow game is not strong, your neck is literally broken.
I know. And you like wake up and you have like, you can't. Anyways, all I'm saying is I now realize what I've been missing out on. I've been sleeping on a horrendous like 25-year-old mattress that was crooked.
Yeah, bye-bye.
And now I will have glorious sleep.
Shout out Polysleep.
So that's what I've been doing. What about you? What did you do?
Okay, this is not something I did, but it's something I'm about to do because I get on a flight later this week. In a couple of days, I'm going to Calgary for a wedding with Haley. I wanted to ask your opinion on this because it's something that I have done in the past. Every single time, I've never bought plain Wi-Fi, and I refuse to.
I refuse to as well.
I want to be disconnected.
Exactly.
The thing that I haven't done yet this week, but I am looking the most forward to, is that 4-hour block of time where I am 100% unreachable.
no, truly. Like I have friends that buy the Wi-Fi every time, or like now there's certain flights like Porter like comes with free Wi-Fi that you can connect to.
Yeah.
When I flew one of those fancy new Porter planes that has free Wi-Fi, didn't connect. I said, no, this is my reading time. This is you're not able to talk to me. Sorry, I'm on a flight. Don't you love the like magic of when you get on an airplane and you put on airplane mode and you're up in the air for 4 hours and you land and it's like all these messages or all these like notifications and you get to check everything like, oh my God, the world's been going on while I've been on this flight. No, I love that experience. Why would I take that away from myself?
That's what I'm saying. It's just like, this is something that I feel like people are like, oh yeah, you got to get the Wi-Fi. You got to, might need an email, might need a scroll.
No. Shut the fuck up. No, don't start making Wi-Fi on planes readily available because then they're going to want us to take meetings on planes.
You got to be careful, Porter, because you're almost adding anti-perks to your planes right now, it sounds like.
Did you see that Air Canada, though, now added free wine and beer?
Oh, did
because
they?
Porter
We got
does.
Competition in the skies.
Yeah, I love
it. We'd love to see it, actually.
We need a little more competition everywhere in Canada, so good on ya. It has been a while since we answered your questions, gave you some advice. Welcome back to another voicemail episode. Today, we got some questions in the channel. If you're not part of the Sarah Jenkins XO POV or My Close Friends channel, that's where we chit chat every day, get some questions. You can also email us questions at talkingfastshow@gmail.com, or you can DM us at talkingfastshow. We've given life advice on cheating. We've given advice on all these other things. So make sure you shoot us a message because we're going to go back to my.
I think it's pretty good advice too, honestly. We're not qualified for a lot of stuff, but we are good at talking.
I think we give pretty good advice.
That's true. Listen, I do as well. I agree. I'll take that back. We're good advice givers.
This is the chaos of when you've had double record days. So you guys are going to get some good answers on this one. So we have a bunch of, we'll say, callers in our voicemail right now, and we're just gonna go back and forth, and Jacob and I are gonna pick questions, and then we'll see where this thing goes.
I like this first one. Can I jump off?
It's all you. Go ahead.
Do you believe in signs from the universe?
This is funny. Our very first episode of season 3 kind of talked about this when we talked about like manifestation. I do.
I do too, but I think it's a little bit different than manifestation, because like a sign is still like something like, you can ask the universe, ask God, whatever you want to say for a sign. And if you see it, it's still, in my mind, you got to do the work as well. But like, I'll be on the lookout for a sign here and there.
Yeah. Like I don't have personally like angel numbers or anything like that, but there are things like, there are like numbers that I associate with, or like, so like Grace, the one I have my tattoo for and stuff, like her hockey number is 23. So like very oftentimes I'll get like sat at like table number 23, or there's like things like that, and like those feel like signs to me that like, I don't know, she's still with me or something. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that. I also feel like there are sometimes like, I know people have the dime theory about like loved ones that have passed on. So they like leave dimes around because dimes are very easy to like be picked up and moved around. So it's like, if you find a dime, it means like you're on the right path, or it's them trying to like send you a message. So, like that's something as well that people are like, my old roommate was really into that. Like she, yeah, like you should look at dime.
I like animals, like a wild animal.
Oh yeah, when you see like an animal. Yeah, so I guess these ones are more about like people that pass on and stuff. But like I do think that like, I do believe in signs in general, or like seeing things that go like, oh, like that means I'm doing the right thing.
There can also be negative signs too of like, whoa, slow down, maybe don't do that. It's like if you get a flat tire.
Are you a big believer in things come in threes? Good and bad?
Jokes for sure. I haven't thought about that. I don't know. Are you?
I maybe
like you think like, oh, I got a cold and no, now
it's like bad things. Yeah, it's like bad things come in threes. So it's like example. Oh my God, where was I? It was like two bad things had happened. I was a wedding.
Then aren't you just waiting for the third?
Yes. Then people are like, oh, that means a third thing is gonna go wrong.
No, I'm not like that. I couldn't do that.
No. Okay.
You?
No. I just observe other people that are very into it because it happened a few weeks ago. People brought up. I kind of forget it's a thing, but then good things come in threes too. Apparently.
Maybe I would be into that one then.
Just the good ones, but not the bad ones.
Got an ice cream cone and found a dime. What's next?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I think I do believe in signs from the universe.
I'd like to. You know, I'd like to.
I mean, I think it goes back to, this might be a little woohoo, but it goes back to like being like, I really can't fathom that like we're just here and these are the only things. There's got to be something. On. So like I'll buy into signs and stuff. I don't know, and I don't really dive too deep into what else is happening or out there, but there has to be.
100%.
So, anyway.
And think about how many things that you do are probably, someone might see that, even like a random stranger on like a passing streetcar that sees you walking on the sidewalk, and they think you're a sign because you're wearing a green coat or something.
Oh, interesting. I never thought about that.
Yeah, think about the other side. It's like you might not be seeing signs, but like your presence in the world could be a sign for someone else.
Oh, I really like that. I
think about that more often, I think.
Just baseline tips for starting running. It feels like everyone is entering their running era.
100%.
So what would you say are some tips for starting running?
Well, if you're very new to running or have never run before, I would say you're probably going to see terms like couch to 5K plans of like start running and you're working toward a 5K. I would say that like if you put on running shoes and like you even get out there and you're running for like 100 meters and then maybe you walk, or maybe that's it and you're done, like you're in. Start slow and start to the point where your body is feeling okay and build from there. Don't try to go out and be like, I'm just gonna go and run a 10K. I see a lot of TikToks and it gets viral sometimes when people are like, oh, I didn't do any training, I'm gonna go run a half marathon. In my opinion, that's stupid. That's a really dumb decision. And it's like so many other people have done that. So many other people have done it before you. It's like if you're thinking about making a TikTok doing that, just boring. And also dangerous for your body. So I
will say that stresses me out when people do that because I do think it's dangerous.
100%.
But yeah, for running tips, like literally I only started running again just over a year ago now, and the way I started was I literally was sitting at home one day and I was like, I'm gonna go for a run. I put on running shoes and I just ran until I felt like comfortable, and I ran for like 2.5K, and then I was like, okay, I went for one run, now that like monkey's on my back and I can like go for another, whatever. So it's, as cheesy as it is, you have to just start. Don't like buy the shoes and do this and do all that just like
don't get a watch to track yourself.
No,
maybe don't even like start Strava.
I still don't even. I didn't start Strava till this year. I don't even wear a watch, and I like run a run club. So like, don't do any of that stuff. And like, I think what some people do when they're starting something or decide that they're going to do it is they invest monetarily into all these things, thinking that's going to inspire them to do it. And I don't think that has ever worked. I've tried it before, being like, if I go to the gym every day for 30 days and I'll buy myself this outfit and I'll want to, you know what I mean? Like, there's all these things. Yeah. Or, oh, if I buy the shoes and the watch and I do all this, then I'll like be inspired to do it. If you're not just going to go out and go for a run, then you're not going to go out and go for a run.
100%.
So like, you just need to do it. And then find run clubs or training programs that work for you. We have a girl at Run Club who legitimately, she goes, I did not run before this run club. So it's so fun because every week it's like it's a PB for her. Or she's like, oh, I've never ran 6K before because we ran 6K last Wednesday. Stuff like that.
We try to be a very approachable run club. If anyone who doesn't follow us on social media, we have Talking Fast, Running Faster here in Toronto. Meet pretty much every Wednesday, the odd Saturday. Very approachable paces. Very approachable.
And when we say approachable, exactly. I think like, so a lot of run clubs, like, I don't know, some of the big scary ones and stuff too, like they have approachable paces too, but there's just like so many people that's overwhelming. Like really, like we cap out at max, we had 50 people one time, but like we to cap out about 20 to 30 people, which it's all people running anywhere from like a 5:30 to like a 7-minute kilometer. So if you're looking for like, I don't know, like, yeah, a little bit more of a low key pace. We have people that walk, run. You can do literally whatever you want. We just always hang out and have some wake water and some snacks after. Like, it's super fun. But yeah, I think I liked using the Nike Run Club app because for starting to run, because Coach Bennett talks to you in your ear. I love Coach Bennett. Coach Bennett, I would love you on the podcast one day. But they coach you. So it's like learning like the basics of running, like even like, oh, relax your shoulders, bring your like chin a little, like not in an annoying way. It's like every few minutes he'll come in, talk to you, and you can kind of determine how much you want them to talk to you. But it's great for when you're starting out, because running can feel really lonely when you're starting, and you do have to go on runs by yourself. That's part of it. But I find that having like the Nike Run Club app where they talk to you really, really helped me a lot.
And I would say the only other thing is like music and run.
Pick music that makes you excited to run.
Exactly. Run to the music as opposed to like chasing certain kilometer goals or time, pacing or anything like that. Just go out and try to enjoy yourself, because if you want to build a habit and get out there running more often, it's like you should probably be enjoying it from the beginning.
Exactly. And picking music that makes you want to go for a run makes it that much better. Like you get excited when a song is on while you're running, because I have songs that I only listen to when I'm running, so it makes me excited to do it.
That's a good one. Okay, question number 3 for voicemail. How do you live a life that's different than what your parents might have expected or hoped for you? I don't really have this
struggle with that?
Because
No.
I was always encouraged to just kind of be or follow paths that I was interested in. It's almost not that it was a negative thing, but I had almost a lack of structured expectations.
I think I had the structured expectations of like university, and like that was structured expectation. Oh yeah. My mom.
I feel like that's pretty common.
But like I didn't have expectations of like, my mom was a nurse, so you have to be a nurse or anything like that, or like doctor, or lawyer, this, that. I think my parents did have expectations of excellence when it came to like academics and everything. And I think that follows you through into adulthood, and that makes it a little more difficult, not while you're like trying to like first start out, but when you're like in this era of our lives where you're like out of university, but you're like working and trying to find yourself. I do think that part makes it difficult, but
I think that's important, and that's an important distinction, because I did have those expectations, and even like outside of academics, it would be for like even like house league soccer or something like that. It's like, if you've committed to going to play on this season, you have to show up every week, even if you feel a little tired or sick or something like that. It's like you have obligations to, be your best in every scenario that you've committed yourself to.
I was the same. But when it comes to like actual, first of all, I'm very sorry if like your parents have certain expectations for you that you don't necessarily fall under, whatever those might be, whether it's like not wanting to go to post-secondary, whether that's not necessarily being in the career that like they pictured you in, whatever it might be.
First of all, that's probably their trauma that they're projecting
1,000,000%
onto
it
you,
is. Exactly.
And any disappointment or anger or any other emotions that they're portraying to you is probably something that they've internalized, and they're just putting it onto you because it's not fair to do that, obviously. And especially if you have other expectations for yourself or goals for yourself, it's like, that's a tough position to be in. But most of the time, I would say it doesn't align with what reality is.
No, and I think, I mean, at the end of the day, it's your life. You're the one that has to live it. You're the only one that lives your life for your entire life.
And think about how many movie plots are built on this exact story.
About and going, and it works out.
Every ending is like, leave law school and go be a baker.
Yeah, I was thinking of doing what Anyone But You, and Sydney Sweeney drops out of law school. And it's like, go drop out of law school and do whatever you want.
Sydney Sweeney did it.
Sydney Sweeney did it. No, I just think that like I always think it might be like awkward at first, but I think parents, like, especially if they have these expectations for you, it just comes from them like wanting you to be successful or wanting you to be happy. I think at its core, like if your parents like have no expectations for you, no structure, and they don't care about you, that's like even worse in my opinion. At least if they do have this expectation, to me that means that they do care about you and like just want you to like do well in life.
And there might, sorry, go ahead.
So I was just going to say there might be friction at first in like wanting to go do something that's not what they expected. But if they really care about you and just want you to be happy, then it might take them a little longer, but eventually like they'll come around and understand that if you're doing something that makes you happy, then
yeah, and there might be a difference between expectations that they have and the amount of support that they'll give, because they might be disappointed and say, oh, I wish you were, you know, following this career path or dating this other type of person. But that's not to say that they might not fully support you if you follow your own path.
I think there might be like friction at the beginning, but I do think like if they care about you at their core, they'll come around to it.
And do whatever you want to do to the best of your ability and prove them wrong.
As long as it is safe and good for your health and not doing something that's like...
Yeah, if you're like... We don't even... I don't know.
We're literally going, this is the most voicemail that's ever voicemail, due to the fact that it's such a mixed bag of questions today. Jacob, because you did it last year, Toronto summer or summer abroad?
Oh, it's so tough. As a Torontonian, you have to vote Toronto summer.
When do you think, question, sidebar, when do you think you're allowed to start referring to yourself as a Torontonian?
I thought it was a decade.
No, I'm not questioning you saying that you're a Torontonian.
No, sorry, that's what I felt. I felt as
you felt it a decade? Because I'm coming up on a decade in a couple months, and that's
do you feel a Torontonian?
Yes, I do, but I also feel kind of fraudulent saying it because I'm friends with people that have been true Torontonians their entire life, and I can't compete with that.
Yeah, you're never going to be able to. Speaking of expectations,
it used to be in my heart of hearts. Once I started paying like city taxes in the sense that I owned a property, that's when I was gonna. But that can't be my reality anymore.
If you have a landlord, it's like they're paying taxes.
Exactly. Like I always said once I hit a decade, I think I will. I voted in multiple elections here.
Voting's big.
You
know what I said? I know what I said to Haley the other day. She has only been living here for, at the end of this year, 3 years?
Oh, only 3? Oh, wow.
Yeah, moved here from Calgary. I was having this conversation with her because mutual friend of ours, Edward, he showed up to a park that we were hanging out at, and he broke the news that this place on Dundas West, Extra Burger, was closing down. This was one of Haley's favorite spots, and she frequented it all the time whenever she was in the West End. And it closed down, and she was actually really heartbroken about it. And I was sitting there in the park, and I just turned to her and I said, this is kind of the mark of being a Torontonian, is that you learn to love a restaurant or a bar or a store and love it while it's here, because it'll be gone in a number of years. And everyone agreed that was kind of a mark.
That's a mark. Okay, well, I've listened to that many times, so that's a good mark.
I think that you've earned your stripes then.
Okay, I'm close. Maybe at 10 years I'll be a Torontonian. Sorry. Anyways, also say is I agree. I think that Toronto summers as a Torontonian are amazing. But do you think summer abroad though? Is that what
summer abroad is hard to compete with? Like if you're sipping Aperol Spritz on the Amalfi Coast, how can you say I would rather be? You also can't
do that every summer, or if you can do that every summer, hats off to you. Yeah. I can't do that every summer.
It also is just, it gets too busy. It's insanely expensive.
See,
it's
okay,
busy.
no, because I'm going to be real for a second, because like this is actually what I'm struggling with this summer. I'm going to the Olympics. I should talk about it all the time. Blah, blah. I'm going to the Olympics. I can hear
someone
hear
that internalized.
I don't know. TikTok comments don't get to me. Anyways, with that, I'm gone for 26 days. 27 basically, with airport time. And that's a really long time to be away in the peak of Toronto summer. Middle of July to middle of August. Are you joking me?
That's basically a whole volleyball league.
Exactly.
That's how many concerts.
And I've missed the August long weekend here like multiple years in a row. There's just all these things that I'm like, God damn it. It's like peak Toronto summertime.
I was already thinking this because I'm going to 2 weddings over the next couple weekends. And
you feel like you're losing Toronto summer.
I was just like, oh, this event's then and that event's then, and I'm going to miss those. It's tough.
And that's how I feel. And I'm really worried about that too. Weddings eating up my Toronto summertime in the coming years. And this is like, yes, I'm going to be in Paris at the Olympics. I obviously understand that that's going to be amazing. I'm still going to have so much FOMO. I just know it. There's like concerts.
You got to turn off Instagram stories for like some of your like mid-tier friends.
Yeah, because that's true. Because I just like, there's concerts that I'm missing. There's like patios that I could be sipping. I could be spending more time at the well.
You know what the other thing is? It's like some of the stuff from the Toronto summer is like, classic Toronto day is when you are just walking down the street somewhere, you're hanging out, you're en route to some bar or something, and you run into some people. You're like, oh, maybe we should actually go to this place with this other group of people. Oh, let's continue this with a park hang. Let's go over and do this.
Before you know it, you're out until 4 a.m, and it's glorious.
And that doesn't happen 8 months of the year because everyone's too cold, or you don't recognize your best friend because they're wearing a big winter jacket.
Exactly. Or like you do a park hang and then it turns, it's the best.
It's tough to say. As a Torontonian, I think we are on the same page that you really miss it if you're away from it. But at the same time, I can't imagine you're going to be crying too many tears in Paris.
I don't think I will be. It's just the same thing happened when we went to Budapest last year.
And if you have the opportunity, listen, if you haven't done it, I did it last year, so I'm not itching for it. But if you do have the opportunity to go travel abroad, do something different, I would encourage that. Go in
the summertime. Yeah. Do it. I mean, TikTok romanticizes a Euro summer, but like Toronto summers are also really fun. It's the only time that everyone collectively loves this city.
Yeah.
People hate it on a lot of the time.
Here's an easy one, Sarah. What animal do you consider yourself to be most like?
I really was hoping you weren't going to pick this one because I literally do not have an answer. Do you have one?
Yeah, I do.
What's your answer?
I like a little fox. Little kind of a...
Am I having deja vu right now? Have we
answered
this question before?
Really? Did I say that right?
Have we answered this question before?
I don't know. Someone find it. That's what can be.
Have you and I had this conversation before?
I'll skip it. Let's go to a different question.
No, I can think of an animal.
Okay.
What animal do you think I'm most like? I think fox checks out for you.
Like kind of a fox is darting around a little bit.
I was going to say a meerkat.
I could be a meerkat too.
I was gonna say meerkat.
If there was a fence, I would definitely like pop my head up, check things out.
I just feel like you're kind of like a little like, oh, what's going on? You know what I mean?
What would you be? You wouldn't be a bird, I don't think.
I hate birds and I hate fish. So maybe it's out of the sky and out of the water. Something on land.
Land animal, eh?
I don't know. All opinions are welcome here in the podcast studio because I have no idea.
Toss in the comments what you think. What animal?
Okay, do you want to know a really horrifying story?
Yeah.
It's ingrained in my brain. I was at the Coburg Mall. Shout out the Northumberland, whatever it was called, center. I don't even know what the mall was called. Northumberland Mall, I think, actually. And my sister was like, my sister and I were both there, but I wasn't like with my sister at the time. She was walking. I think I'm in like 7th grade. She's walking behind these group of girls from my middle school. And apparently the one girl turned to the other and went, yeah, you're right. Sarah Jenkins does look like a monkey.
Whoa, trauma.
And then my sister was like 5th grade. So she runs back to tell me, thinking, like, not realizing that it was like a horrendous insult.
A monkey.
Yeah. And then typical 7th grade me was like, well, technically all humans came from monkeys. So
ever heard of evolution?
Yeah, ever heard of evolution? Clearly you're not paying attention in grade 7 science class. Anyways, that story. So whenever that's, I think, why I thought of like that. Whenever I think of this question,
you think of that story?
I think of that, and I have a little bit of PTSD from it.
Okay, that makes sense. We can skip.
Anyways, if anyone has any angelic, beautiful animals that they want to compare me to.
Well, this is a good one to end on, maybe. What is one thing you've learned about yourself so far this year?
Oh, God.
Could be positive, could be negative.
I feel like I've learned a lot about myself this year.
I have one.
Okay, what?
I've learned that I can cry easier than I thought I could.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I know in the first episode of this season, I said, I think I'm entering a little bit more of an emotional era.
Yeah.
I think that's true. I've been watching a lot of TikToks of like Hopecore, which is
like
hashtag Hopecore, which is like just, you know, heartwarming elderly couple on the sidewalk dancing in the sunset.
Oh, those videos make me cry.
Yeah. And you know what? Oh, and you know what it was too? Before the 10K race, part of my not training, but what I did the night before too, I just got on New York City Marathon TikTok again, and I was watching people cross the finish line, like just hugging loved ones. I was shedding some tears.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, so that's what I've learned about.
Do you think you'll shed tears when you cross the finish line?
Probably.
Yeah. When is it this year?
November
Maybe I'll
3rd.
do a trip to New York because I was supposed to be there last year for it. I think, what have I learned about myself? Other than the fact that I need to be better at sitting with emotions as opposed to bulldozing over them. That's one thing. I don't know. I've learned that I don't know. I've learned this like a lot. So this is actually like a very overwhelming question. I've learned that I don't even know how to word this. Like, So much of my life, like I don't live for myself. So this year, in the past 6 months, has been relearning how to live life for myself. Because when you think about it, I make videos on the internet. Yes, I do that for me. But is it like really for, you know what I mean? Like it's like at a certain point, it's also like for other people. You work a job for a company, whatever. Like I do it for myself, but like also like you're doing it for other people. Things that like with friends or like whatever, I just realized I run myself pretty thin doing a lot of things for other people. And it got to a point where I was like only living for other people, whether it was for people that were on the internet that weren't in my immediate life or people in my immediate life. Whether it be I would avoid conversations because of other people, I would only like make appearances or do certain things like for other people. So now I'm learning to do things for myself. So I think that's probably what I've learned about myself the most.
Huge. That's a good one.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've thought about that a little bit recently myself. And this is like a very existential, maybe crisis moment to even talk about. But I feel like that's a very common thing for a lot of people to be doing that, maybe even most people, to the point where most people in the world are living for other people. Like who is what would the world be like?
Well, and like, look, and I think this is the issue. I think like, especially like with Western society having this like label of being like very selfish and everything, like I think there's an issue where like doing anything just for yourself is seen as selfish. It gets very like labeled as selfish with a negative connotation. And I'm not saying I like bulldozer over and only do things for myself now and like fuck you guys and whatever.
There are also ways that you can be in service of other people and
yourself.
It's something
Exactly.
for yourself.
Exactly. So now what I'm realizing and what I've learned is like the difference between, am I doing this for somebody else because it also like makes me feel good and it makes me happy to see them happy or whatever it may be, or am I doing it out of obligation because I feel like I need to be doing things for other people to be seen as a nice person? And that's a distinction that I've really started making over the last 6 months to a year. And it's very healthy. It's hard because like you catch yourself doing it all the time regardless. And it's like not to say that you can't just like not do like obligations because like you don't want to or they don't serve yourself, because sometimes there are those parts of life. But it's just a matter of like, I always had like the nice girl mentality and people pleaser mentality, and it's really like cutting the people pleaser out of me and doing things that please people if it also pleases myself. So I think that's what I've learned.
That's a good one. That's a really good one.
Thanks. I feel like this was a very quick and chaotic voicemail for you guys. As always, you can follow us at Talking Fat Show on Instagram. That's where we get a lot of DMs for voicemail. We'll send out questions or call for questions. You can also email us at talkingfatshow@gmail.com. If any of this resonated with you, or if you want to talk further about the topics that we talked about here in voicemail, as long as you're nice, if you have an animal that you think I resonate with, you can send it my way and we'll see what happens. We'll circle back on it. But that's been Jacob. I've been Sarah. Izzy's behind the camera. We will see you next Wednesday.